Welcome to Black Hole, Deep Insights, a channel where we travel beyond textbooks, into the forgotten, the unexplained, and the unimaginable. In this new series, The Lost Civilizations of Earth, we'll uncover the 10 greatest human civilizations that time tried to erase, from the mystical temples of Göbekli Tepe to the majestic cities of the Indus and Mesopotamia, to the mighty pyramids of Egypt and the enigmatic lines of Nazca. Civilizations born from dust, destroyed by nature, war, or mystery, yet leaving behind whispers of their genius, carved in stone, etched in symbols, and buried deep within human memory. This is not just history. This is a journey into the soul of humanity itself. Before there were borders, religions, or nations, there were humans. Curious, inventive, fearless. They built temples aligned with the stars, cities planned with precision, and stories that defied time itself. In this 10-part documentary series, we'll trace humanity's path, from Göbekli Tepe to Mohenjo-Daro, from the pyramids of Egypt to the lost cities of the Mayans and the forgotten kingdoms beneath the oceans. Each episode reveals how we, the modern humans, are the final echo of those ancient worlds. Their ruins are not dead stones. They are blueprints of who we once were and who we might become again. The Lost Civilizations. Part 1. Göbekli Tepe, older than time itself. In the dry hills of southeastern Turkey, beneath layers of dust and time, lies a place that challenges everything we thought we knew about human history. A place older than cities, older than writing, older even than agriculture itself. This is Göbekli Tepe, a temple built nearly 12,000 years ago, long before the pyramids, long before Stonehenge. And this is where our journey into the lost civilizations begins. Welcome to the Lost Civilizations series, where we travel deep into the roots of humanity, to the moments when humans first began to dream, to believe, and to build. This is the story of how life began, how intelligence evolved, and how our ancestors left behind monuments that whisper secrets from a forgotten age. Billions of years ago, before mountains or oceans existed, our planet was nothing more than a ball of molten rock. Over millions of years it cooled, oceans formed, and in those oceans the first spark of life was born, a single-celled organism that would eventually evolve into every living creature on Earth. From fish to amphibians, from reptiles to mammals, evolution sculpted life in ways beyond imagination. And then, sometime around 3 million years ago, the first primitive humans appeared. They were not farmers or builders. They were hunters, gatherers, and wanderers, yet within them existed the seed of curiosity, the desire to understand their world. They looked at the stars, the thunder, the fire, and they began to worship what they could not control. This worship, this imagination, became the beginning of what we now call civilization. And it is here, in the region we now know as Anatolia, that we find something extraordinary, something that rewrites the story of human civilization. In the 1960s, archaeologists surveying the barren hills near the city of Şanlıurfa discovered strange stone fragments. At first, no one paid much attention, but in 1994, a German archaeologist named Klaus Schmidt looked at those stones and realized they were not just random rocks. They were parts of massive T-shaped pillars, carved and placed deliberately by human hands, around 9600 BCE. That date alone was shocking. It pushed human history thousands of years earlier than anyone believed possible. Because at that time, humans were supposed to be simple nomads, with no villages, no tools for large construction, no concept of temples. And yet, here was Göbekli Tepe, the world's first temple, older than any known city. When excavations began, archaeologists uncovered circles of stone, each about 20 meters wide, with towering pillars, some reaching up to 6 meters high and weighing over 15 tons. Every pillar was carved from solid limestone, Many bore mysterious reliefs of foxes, snakes, vultures, wild boars, lions, and scorpions. None of these were random. Each animal seemed to hold symbolic meaning, guardians, spirits, or perhaps representations of constellations. What's truly astonishing is that Göbekli Tepe was built by people who hadn't yet discovered farming. They still lived by hunting and gathering. And yet, they somehow came together in great numbers, organized labor, and shaped these stones into something sacred. No one knows how they moved those massive pillars without metal tools or wheels. Some believe they rolled them on wooden logs. Others say they dragged them using animal hide and human strength. But even that doesn't explain how they designed perfect circular structures, geometrically aligned, some with clear astronomical orientation. So why did they build it? Was it a temple? A meeting ground? A star map? One of the most mysterious carvings is called the Vulture Stone, or Pillar 43. It shows a headless human figure surrounded by animals and strange symbols, including what looks like the constellation Sagittarius. Some researchers believe this stone may record a cosmic event, perhaps the impact of a comet that changed the climate nearly 13,000 years ago, triggering what scientists call the Younger Dryas, a sudden ice age. If that's true, Göbekli Tepe could be the oldest observatory on Earth, a place where ancient humans tried to record the sky, to make sense of celestial patterns that ruled their world. But Göbekli Tepe is not just about the sky, it's about the birth of belief. Think of it. People who had no houses built temples. Before they built shelters for themselves, they built shelters for their gods. This suggests that religion may have come before civilization, that faith, not farming, united the first humans into communities. Around Göbekli Tepe, archaeologists found grinding stones, animal bones, and evidence of large feasts, possibly ritual gatherings that brought people together from distant lands. Imagine hundreds of people traveling miles to gather here, not to live, but to celebrate, to sacrifice, to worship. Their diet came entirely from nature's offering. They hunted gazelles, wild boars, foxes, and birds in the surrounding hills. They gathered pistachios, almonds, wild barley, wheat, and figs, early ancestors of the crops that would later feed entire civilizations. They likely roasted meat over open fires, cracked nuts with stone tools, and made simple bread-like meals from crushed wild grains and water. Excavations show bones of over 100,000 animals, proof that the site was used for massive feasts, perhaps sacred rituals connecting food, faith, and community. In this ancient sanctuary, food was not just survival, it was worship. This would have been humanity's first pilgrimage site. Another mystery, the people who built Göbekli Tepe eventually buried it under tons of earth. Why would anyone bury their sacred site? Some believe it was an act of protection, to preserve it from enemies or natural disasters. Others think it marked the end of an era, when humans began to settle, farm, and move toward new civilizations like Jericho, Catalhoyuk, and later, the Indus Valley. When the dust of Göbekli Tepe covered its stones, a new chapter of humanity began, the age of agriculture and cities. Archaeologists have since discovered that Göbekli Tepe was not alone. Nearby hills reveal smaller but similar sites: Karahan Tepe, Cyberk, Sefer Tepe, suggesting a network of sacred places. Together, they represent a culture older than recorded history, the forgotten architects of belief. The more scientists dig, the deeper the mystery grows. There are no traces of permanent houses, no sign of daily life. So who were the builders? Did they belong to one tribe or many? Were they led by shamans, or was this a communal act of devotion? We may never know for sure. But one thing is clear, Göbekli Tepe changed everything we knew about ourselves. It showed that humans were capable of complex thought, organization, and spirituality, long before the first cities rose from clay. It also suggests something profound, that civilization began not with survival, but with meaning. When humans first looked at the stars and asked, Why are we here? When they felt awe, fear, and wonder, that was the true beginning of civilization. Today, the site of Göbekli Tepe stands silent under the Turkish sun. The wind brushes across the stones just as it did 12,000 years ago. Each pillar, each carving, still watches the horizon, the same sky that the builders once gazed upon. Archaeologists continue to unearth new sections every year, and with every discovery, the boundary between myth and history blurs just a little more. Göbekli Tepe is not just a ruin, it is a message carved in stone, a reminder that even at the dawn of time, humans sought connection with the divine. A reminder that our story did not begin with technology or empire, but with faith, art, and imagination. As we stand here, looking back across 12,000 years, we are not so different from them. We still search for purpose. We still build monuments, though now of steel and glass, to what we believe in. Göbekli Tepe is proof that humanity's oldest instinct was not survival, it was wonder. If we look at the modern world map, Göbekli Tepe lies in the southeastern part of Turkey, about 15 kilometers northeast of the city of Şanlıurfa, ancient Urfa, once called the City of Prophets. Geographically, it rests on the northern edge of the Fertile Crescent, that golden arc of land stretching through modern Turkey, Syria, Iraq, and Iran, where the first seeds of agriculture were sown. The site itself sits high on a barren limestone hill overlooking the Harran Plain, a landscape that, 12,000 years ago, was greener, filled with wild grasses and roaming herds of gazelle, boar, and aurochs. In today's political map, it belongs to Turkey's Şanlıurfa province, close to the borders of Syria. Its location is no accident. It was the perfect crossroad between early hunter-gatherer tribes of Anatolia and Mesopotamia. In the next part of our journey, we will travel east, to the Mesopotamian plains, where the first written words were etched in clay, and where gods and kings shaped the destiny of mankind. But for now, let Göbekli Tepe remind us. Before there were nations, before there were cities, there were stories. And those stories began here, in the dust and stone of the world's first temple. Keep exploring the hidden side of our world. Like, share, and subscribe to Black Hole. Deep Insights. Settings.